This was my statement from the very beginning, and it will continue to be forever because it is the truth.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times comedians destroyed their careers overnight.
Why did I do this? Well, I think everything in life and in Hollywood and art and comedy is you try. And we tried.
For this list, we'll be looking at times where one act or a revelation about a comedic professional tarnished their reputations. Although some of these comedians may have continued to get work or find success, we'll count those who faced public backlash or consequences for their choices. Which scandal do you think was the most shocking? Feel free to let us know in the comments.
Hey Mojoholics! For a chance to win cash prizes, play our live daily trivia challenges every day at 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern only at WatchMojo.com/play.
Number 10, Stephen Rannazzisi's Big Lie.
You know, after 2009, I would never go on, anytime I was ever asked it, I always sidestepped it. I said I was downtown and it was an awful day in New York.
In the aftermath of September 11th, 2001, many harrowing stories came out about where people were on that day. But the one from The League star Stephen Rannazzisi wasn't true.
This story's hard to follow.
Early in his comedy career, Rannazzisi claimed he was working in the South Tower when the attack occurred. He allegedly got out of the building before it fell. Surviving the attack convinced Rannazzisi to pursue his dream of being a comedian.
It was as simple as sitting at the Comedy Store and everyone like, hey, you're from New York? Yeah. You were you just there? You were around? Yeah, I was downtown. Yeah, I was there. You work there? Yeah, I did.
After he repeated and upheld the story for years, the New York Times exposed his lie in 2015. Although Rannazzisi apologized, his career never really recovered. He went from starring on a successful TV show for 7 years to being mostly relegated to guest spots and podcast appearances. Number 9, Shane Gillis's racist comments.
And it was funny, too, because people were like, man, they really had to dig to find this. I was like, that's probably like 3 minutes in. It was like, we had one podcast online, and it was 3 minutes in.
Some comedians consider getting cast on Saturday Night Live officially making it in the biz. Before Gilliss could truly celebrate that milestone, a deep dive into his background revealed some unsavory comments from Matt and Shane's secret podcast. On a 2018 episode, Gilliss can be heard using racial and homophobic slurs. The outrage caused Lorne Michaels to fire the comedian only 4 days after being hired in 2019. Gilliss would go on to issue an apology and continue to work.
Like, as big as racism is in America, football.
Over the next few years, he found success with comedy specials and even appeared in a series centered around SNL star Pete Davidson in 2023. His podcast comments ultimately seemed to stall his TV prospects for a few years.
Also, you're in my profile picture, so that's helping quite a bit. I DM'd Chris Evans. Dude, I told him I was with you guys, and he was like, cool.
Number 8, Gilbert Gottfried's insensitive tweets.
Oh, now, Gilbert, you're gonna get into trouble again.
We all knew him as the comedian with the loud voice. While we laughed at lots of the things Gilbert said, a few of his tweets drew frowns.
The most tragic thing about the fall of Rome is the series that HBO is gonna make out of it.
Soon. In the wake of the 2011 earthquake and tsunami that devastated parts of Japan, Gottfried posted a series of 12 tweets making light of the disaster. Many considered these jokes in poor taste, especially the insurance company Aflac. They quickly moved to drop Gilbert as the voice of their duck mascot. Despite the setback, his career in movies and TV continued to thrive. However, Gottfried didn't pick up too many more commercial campaigns after he issued his tweets.
The Aflac duck?
Yes.
Did you lose a lot of money?
No.
In future?
No. It was $5 a commercial.
Number 7, Charles Rocket gets fired.
It's okay. He's just asleep. So apparently there's no danger now, but there could be soon. Something you have to think about every time you visit Central Park.
While Saturday Night Live heavily discourages hard cursing, the show has seen its fair share of accidental profanity over the years. One of the most infamous examples came from Charles Rocket. Hired for SNL during the 1980 to 1981 season, Rocket was billed as the replacement for original cast members Bill Murray and Chevy Chase. He even had his own segment called The Rocket Report, but it all came crashing down in the final moments of an episode after Rocket used a certain 4-letter F word.
Charlie, how are you feeling after you've been shot?
Oh man, it's the first time I've ever been shot in my life. I'd like to know who did it.
The combination of his profanity and dissatisfaction with his overall performance that season led to his dismissal. It took Rocket a couple of years and a few smaller roles before he began getting steady work once more.
What is this? What is this? Where's all the money?
That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs.
Number 6, Jamie Kennedy's disastrous hosting gig.
I'm with my two lovely ladies. Girls, what's your resolution for 2013? to just get rid of all my haters.
All your haters.
You might know him from the Scream franchise or his self-titled prank show entitled The Jamie Kennedy Experiment. If you didn't know that he hosted a 2013 holiday show, we wouldn't blame you. Dubbed the worst New Year's Eve special ever by some reporters, the show was plagued with technical issues.
Where's our stage manager?
Jamie, don't talk into the mic.
Kennedy made the situation worse with unfunny jokes, a random format, and a few offensive moments. As the cherry on top of this mess, he missed the actual countdown to New Year's. He later said that the surreal tone of the show was intentional. But no matter what Kennedy's true intentions were, he hasn't starred in too many high-profile roles since 2013.
People try to recreate this. You can't. It was beautiful. It was lightning in an artistically trained bottle.
Number 5, Paul Rubens arrested.
I made a dog collar out of macaroni for Aloysius. There's all sorts of cool junk you can make out of macaroni.
Starring in 80s kids' favorites like Pee-wee's Playhouse and Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Paul Rubens' iconic, quirky character rocketed him to superstardom. After playing Pee-wee for almost a decade, Rubens decided to take a break from the character in 1991.
Supposed to mean? I think everyone here knows what this is supposed to mean.
That was the same year he was arrested in an adult movie theater for indecent exposure. Pee-wee toys were pulled from store shelves and reruns of his show were canceled. While he kept working for the next decade, a return to the role didn't seem likely. But Rubens did eventually reprise the role of Pee-wee Herman for wide audiences in a well-received Netflix special 15 years after his arrest.
Ladies, it's been real, and it's been fun. And it's been real fun.
Number 4, Kathy Griffin's presidential photo.
I wanted to shame him. He's such a misogynist and his policies are so disgusting. And for the rights of women and LGBT folks and people of color, I was like, this guy's going down.
Plenty of comedians made digs at Donald Trump before, during, and after his presidency. However, Kathy Griffin stood out with a particular image. The comedian infamously posed for a graphic photo where it appeared as if she was holding the then president's head. Venues canceled her tour dates and she lost her yearly spot on CNN's live New Year's Eve broadcast. Additionally, Griffin was also investigated by government officials.
It is all over Twitter, but it's coming directly from the President of the United States to a 56-year-old female comedian who has no studio backing her, no network backing her. I don't have a big franchise movie coming out. He picked me. Don't you get it?
After the initial controversy, she launched her Laugh Your Head Off comedy tour to take a jab at herself and the photo. She played some sold-out shows and even released a comedy special in 2019. In 2020, Griffin even brought the photo back.
I think they knew I was like an easy mark, right? So just, out of all the dudes who supposedly threatened the president, none of them got in this kind of trouble, all right? He's not going to go after Snoop Dogg or the singer Morrissey.
Number 3, Louis C.K. admits to misdeeds.
Why am I trying to impress you? Why don't you tell me about your goddamn life and try to impress me? Why aren't you nervous to be with me?
At the height of his comedy career, Louis was starring on a successful TV show and awaiting the release of a film he wrote and directed. Everything was put on hold when a report by the New York Times included accounts from women accusing Louis of sexual misconduct. After the article came out, Louis, Network FX, announced they would cease working with the comedian.
Does that mean nothing to you? You almost got everybody hurt.
The theater release of the comedian's I Love You, Daddy movie was also canceled. Less than a year later, CK began performing in comedy clubs and releasing stand-up specials on his website. He also won a Grammy for Best Comedy Album in 2022. It's still unclear whether CK will be cast in more mainstream TV and movie projects again.
Anybody else get in global amounts of trouble? Anybody else?
Number 2, Roseanne Barr loses her show.
I'm trying to talk about Iran. I'm trying to talk about Valerie Jarrett wrote the Iran deal.
I know, but you've told me this 300 times.
Although Roseanne has not been a stranger to controversy, one particular tweet heavily derailed her career. In 2018, Barr compared Valerie Jarrett, one of Barack Obama's senior aides, to an ape on Twitter. Many people did not take kindly to Barr's remarks, and shortly after the tweet went viral, ABC canceled the revival.
Well, your mom's creative, so I get that, but here's the thing. You've got to pick your fights in life.
The network followed that by replacing the show with The Connors, which noticeably didn't include Barr. In the years following the incident, Barr was largely absent from television and movies. Outside of a comedy special on Fox Nation, there were few indications that the comedian will be invited onto new projects as of May 2023.
Anyways, anybody else been fired recently?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Michael Richards' racist tirade.
for this to happen, for me to be in a comedy club and flip out and say this crap, you know, I'm deeply, deeply sorry.
After his 9-year stint as the beloved Kramer on Seinfeld, Richards decided to go back to his stand-up roots. In 2006, he was performing at the Laugh Factory when his set was interrupted by hecklers. Richards responded by going on a racist tirade against the audience members. The entire incident was all captured on video and was widely covered by media outlets.
Oh, I guess you got me there. You're absolutely right. I'm just a wash-up.
While Richards apologized for his behavior, his words weren't enough to get him back to his former heights. He retired from stand-up and picked up less than 10 TV and film credits over the next 15 years. The racist tirade continues to cast a shadow over his career and legacy.
Hey! Hold that foot! Hey!
Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.